If you know your shit, pop your shit. Tell them niggas don't pass it up, pick it up if you drop your shit. Jay grabbed beat before he became a billionaire. It's a matter of time before I become a trillionaire. It's almost easy if you see it, speak it, believe it. Don't change up on God or yourself. It's cool to have a job, just don't die, it's the help. It's cool to have cash, just get knowledge on wealth. Steps, it's almost like they disappeared and came back. Feel like they got destroyed, so I had to build them back. If your ass was there, I don't have to repeat the facts. It's crazy how I can't know all about them tracks, and that's the truth. I'm over them licks, I gotta stay rich. What the ones that's gonna pick up my shit when I can't face it?
But we don't panic, we pivot, and you keep it going. You keep it going.
Keep it 100, keep it real, keep it factual.
So these two go hand in hand. And why do they go hand in hand? Because people communicate differently, people comprehend differently. What's communicated can be verbal and nonverbal, and what's comprehended, comprehension is, they say is key, but it ain't key for everybody. Because everybody don't comprehend.
What you comprehend and what I comprehend.
Mm-hmm.
Two complete different things from what the person was actually trying to say.
And the best example to that is like also sight. Like what you see is different from what I see. And we can be looking at the same freaking thing, but we see something different. So in keeping with the whole conversation we're about to have, keeping in mind that we just, different people see different things. We are not the same. None of us are the same. So we're going to see different things.
You know how when you go to an art gallery, everybody's walking. First of all, I haven't been, but I would love to go if anyone want to take me on a date. But anyway, I watch a lot of movies. But anyways, when people go to art galleries, you typically see them, quite a few people staring at, one picture, then you see quite a few people staring at another picture. And everybody, there's always that one person, either the artist or the person that's putting on, that's hosting, they'll ask them, what do you see? Mm-hmm. And then the person be like, oh, I see this. They look like maybe they were happy. There's lots of lines. So maybe they're changing lanes. I see there's something over here isolated. So maybe they're trying to get there, but they're not. And then you ask another person and they give their interpretation of what they see. I think that's what happens when you're communicating with people. And the communication is the painting. The comprehension is what you got from what was communicated.
Right.
And I feel like oftentimes people tend to believe what they want to believe because we are great with our imagination. So we're able to create and add on things that probably wasn't even there. It could have been one word, and that one word made you draw all type of figures to attach to that one word. So now when you're trying to understand what that person was saying, you can't because you got stuck on one word. You started to create all these pictures from that one word, which distracted you from the whole point of the conversation.
And the one word is your distractor because you have yourself in it. Like, let's be honest. When we're communicating, communication is not, it's meant to be, conversation and communication is meant to be an ongoing back and forth thing between us two, right? So I can't listen to what you're saying only for the sake of me to say what I gotta say. Right. And a lot of times people do that. Like you only listening to me for the sake of what you have to say. But did you hear what I said? Or if you heard what I said and you were listening to me and actually hearing me, did you hear me for me and where I'm coming from? Or did you hear me for you and where you stood or what maybe you felt attacked in what I said?
Because a lot of people hear things for them. They don't hear things for what you're trying to say and where you're going with the conversation. They hear things, okay, that one word. I heard one word and all it took was for me to go.
And we gotta be mindful of that, because communication, let's be honest, it's in every aspect of our lives, like especially as adults. Like as a child, you always told to be quiet or go here, or some kids, not all, but you always you get shunned off. But then as an adult, you get put into these places where you have to communicate. And then your communication is being graded everywhere you going. Like, how well do you speak? Or how can you, adapt in this environment and speak? Are you able to speak in this lane, no matter, where you're from or whatever the case? So I think it's important for us to understand, like, everybody communicates different, which is why we gave the example of, God hears us in any language. So in any language that we speak, and God can hear us. So like we need to kind of apply that same concept to be able to hear other people. Like you speak a different language because of your environment, because of your background, your ethnicity, your language, your all of that. Like everything contributes into how you speak. So like for me, I can be very aggressive to some, but passionate to others in how I speak, because of my upbringing, because of my background. Like I was raised with very dominant women, very assertive women. I was raised with nothing but boys who were very aggressive. So a lot of times when I think I'm speaking passionate, or when I think I'm speaking about something that I'm serious about or excited about, like if you don't see no smile on my face, then you think I'm aggressive. Like you think I'm but really I'm just so like, I love what I'm talking about. I love what I'm talking about, or I love you. So that's the way I'm talking about. Like, I don't want to see you go down this path or make this mistake or whatever case. So that's why I'm talking to you like this.
You also talk with your hand. I just want to let you know.
I talk a lot with my hand.
With your hand. And when I say with your hand, I mean you hit. When you excited, you hit.
That wasn't for this.
Keep your hands to yourself.
We're on communication and comprehension.
No, because when you were envisioning when you were talking about how
she's talking about me.
No, we talking about you. This one ain't yet.
Okay, so comprehension and communication. What
did you comprehend from what I just said?
I don't like you. Don't test me. Keep my hands to myself. Okay, now moving on. Sometimes that'd be like when it's like really funny, like, girl.
When you're super excited, you don't know your strength.
Okay.
Okay, like it's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying.
That's what I'm saying.
If you're super excited, you're right. You be like, shit don't be funny no more.
Hey. Oh, that went left. So, back to communication.
Comprehension. For you was
y'all, it's important that we communicate effectively, because it's in every relationship. Like, how many relationships do you have? Your friendships, your partner, what you got, a partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever.
I think
your kid, the
watch how you communicate, and then they taking on how you communicate with them. So it's like they're watching you. So like, when your kids say, "Why are you using that voice?" That's a part of you. You know how you say you speak different languages? Well, that was a different tone in how I communicated with someone. So kids pick up on how you communicate with different people, which means when you're using a voice that you don't use all the time, it alerts them. It's either A, why you using that valley voice? Like, my son be like, why you talking like that? Like, you don't talk like that. And I'm like, well, son, this is I'm working. I talk when I'm working. Now when I'm at home, you right. Get loose, I get comfortable.
And they will put you on spot. And shout out to all my people who got toddlers right now, because I know they work, y'all. I don't got none, but I see they giving 100. I'm talking about Mila woke up at 8:30 this morning, has been talking all day. All day. But communication is used in all of these relationships, and it's important for us to understand, like, we really need to have this as a ongoing class in every part of school, because that's the only way relationships are built. Business can be done if you want it done effectively. if you okay with, you know, the rah-rah and all of that, then you don't care. This is not for you. But if you want to, you know, effectively communicate, and you got to understand, for one, you got to take your feelings out of it. And you got to give
because
people
a lot
break.
of people lead, and I'm noticing a lot of people lead with their emotions. I'll be the first to admit that I do at
It's
times
easy.
get caught up and lead with my emotions. But what I have learned over the time, that I have to control my emotions in that moment to be able to get whatever it is done. So I don't like, and you've been around, so you've seen me at times where it's like I wanted to just, but I couldn't, because at the end of the day, I still gotta make it happen. I still gotta figure this out.
I've been watching
Still gotta
leaders.
go. Yeah,
Because
like,
we want to be bosses. So for me, it's watching the fact that a person could sit here, like whatever profession or, you know, high position that you're in, and you could either receive some criticism or hear something that you don't like, and you still have to proceed with business. Like, that's where I've been thinking, is like, my mindset with communication is like, okay, no matter what I hear, or I, you know, and I don't like it, or no matter what somebody tells me and it rubs me, you have to proceed. No matter what I hear that normally would stop me if I didn't have this business right now, I have to keep going. And I know everybody's not in business, so it's like, okay, well, I don't have to do that.
but
But if
everybody is
you
in
apply
life.
that, if you
Everybody
apply
is
the
dealing with
same
a lot.
concept to everything, like, you don't want to ruin every relationship. You don't want to have everything go and then just be acting like you're not the problem. Like, communication is a two-way street. So that person, you may have perceived something wrong from that person, or they may have perceived something wrong from you and what you said. And if you allow it to just be, okay, whatever, I'm just not going to fix it, and you do that with everybody, that you are forever going to be the problem, because you've never tried to fix the way that you communicate. And yeah, people comprehend differently, but we're not even on to that. We're just talking about the way in which you communicate, whether it was through your verbals, your non-verbals, whatever it is. The way you have to be accountable for how you're communicating to people, and then also what you're understanding or comprehending from what they're communicating to you. Because like you said, our feelings is easy to get into it. Like, it's easy for your feelings to get hurt, but you got to understand, like, let me separate this. I do that with my kids all the time. Like, look, because kids is raw, like, they raw.
Yeah, uncut.
Kids will say some stuff to you, and you almost forget that they're a kid. Like, and you be like, look, I wasn't too long ago that I was a kid. You would stoop down to their level, but I'm the parent. I have to take my feelings out of this. Like, yes, you may have just rubbed me wrong, but I'm the adult. I'm the one who learned how to regulate my emotions, for the most part, how to comprehend, you know, that you're a child and that you just really don't know what you just said right now. So let me dial it back before I go crazy on you. Like, that's what we have to do in every relationship. Like, kids test me, and that was a perfect.
Or even those times where, you know, when you was a kid, or and you and all your cousins together, and they say, don't do this no more. Don't go in and out my house, or don't eat it. Who was eating in here? And the person who it didn't pertain to, they answer, and they always say, well, if it wasn't you, then don't say nothing. Or if it doesn't pertain to you, don't say nothing. That's how I feel when it comes to communicating, because also with communicating, just because
environment
saying something, it doesn't mean that what they're saying is all true. So you have to be able to take from what people are saying and decipher what fits and what doesn't fit for you. Because sometimes they could just be giving an overall message, but you, because you heard one word, you wanted to go off, and that one word wasn't for you. It was for somebody else that was in the crowd.
But which is why you can't take it personal.
Yes,
like, my aunt, they used to say all the time, like, she'll tell you some stuff. Like, she's gonna tell you what you gotta say. But she always ended it with, take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. And I'd be like, one day I just finally asked her, like, why you say that? She like, I mean, use what you can, and whatever you doesn't apply, doesn't fit you, then you just you exit out. You ain't gotta tell me. You ain't gotta, express your discontent. Like sometimes we want to talk too much, like because you just want to talk to be heard or talk to vent. And you gotta understand, we talked about this in another episode. Like venting ain't always the best thing because vents blow everywhere. Yeah, it's another conversation. But sometimes you want to talk to talk. And
hey. Don't be fast forwarding on that.
Because we hit that already.
But you ain't hit that. Say that again.
Vents blow in different directions. So you don't want to just be venting to everybody because then your business get out in different ways. And yeah, you don't want to
use that. Y'all use that. 2024. Use that. Vents blow everywhere. And you be venting your shit to everybody. And that's why your business be here, there, north, east, south, west, in Africa. And they tell you
and then by the time it be there, just like that one game where you whisper in the person's ear, it don't be what you've been told the person by the time it gets to the next person. So yeah, you don't want to vent to everybody, and you don't want to just be talking to talk. You want to talk with a purpose, like, and then you want to understand, like, if you ain't got nothing to say, or if it doesn't apply, then just let it go. Let it go. If that person says something to me, and as adults, we have to be way more mindful of this. Sometimes I feel like we be real childish because you hear something, like you said, you hear something that you don't like and you tag on that and you miss the whole point of the conversation because yes, I might have said this one thing you needed to work on, or this one thing I didn't like, or it rubbed me wrong, or it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, or I expected more. You heard one thing and you, like you said, and you let that ruin the whole message. So now you don't comprehend what I said. You only comprehend the piece that you heard because you probably stopped hearing me after you heard it. Like in your mind, you probably started talking to yourself like, who the hell they talking to? And what? No, that ain't it. So now you're not listening to me. Therefore, we can't communicate effectively. Like we can't.
Man, it's been so many times where stuff went wrong because of that one wrong word. And I'm not even gonna say stuff went wrong, but you know how, like, ever since you've known me, I have a real funny way of putting things together, whether it's my stories, my thoughts. Like, I be trying to, the way I see it in my head and in my mind is different from the way I'm trying to put it together. So a lot of the times, like, I do get misunderstood.
Mm-hmm.
People do not comprehend what I'm trying to say. They hear what I said, but they don't hear what I was saying. They didn't hear what I was saying. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of it is because I probably said something that was like you said, I'm talking about me, and here you go bringing up you. Something like of that nature, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like, it's hard. Like, so basically I ran into a situation where I was trying to communicate with somebody, but they couldn't get past one of the words that I said. And because I said one of the words, they kept going backwards. And I'm like, no, that's not my point. That's not my point.
But it was the point that they wanted to be. It was a point that they wanted to be addressed. And
how much addressing do you need? You get what I'm saying? It's like, at this point, you're dwelling.
Yeah.
Because that one word, them one words are triggers. They're triggers from past. They're triggers from issues that you never resolved.
But then also understand this, because I think another point that we miss is, like, when we're communicating, how is that one word communicated? So, like, just playing on the other side. So, like I said, communication is about verbals and nonverbals. And let's be honest, as Black people, some of our nonverbals speak a lot louder than our verbals. Like we said, especially as women, we read a lot of those. So I'm not saying in that particular situation, but I'm just saying playing on devil's advocate for a moment. Can you, if I'm saying something to you and maybe I have a critique or something in there, and I'm also expressing how I feel at the same time, or, my thoughts and my view or whatever it is, can you look past how I'm talking? Like, if I'm maybe being aggressive with my words, or maybe I'm like this, or like I'm pointing at you or something when I said it, like, can you look past all the nonverbals and hear what the verbal was and hear what I'm actually saying? and not get caught up on that word, or did all of that contribute to how you feel and why you addressing that one point because of everything else I'm not saying too, but that's also, you get what I'm saying?
If you know your shit, pop your shit. Tell them niggas don't pass it up, pick it up if you drop your shit. Jay grabbed beat before he became a billionaire. It's a matter of time before I become a trillionaire. It's almost easy if you see it, speak it, believe it. Don't change up on God or yourself. It's cool to have a job, just don't die, it's the help. It's cool to have cash, just get knowledge on wealth. Steps, it's almost like they disappeared and came back. Feel like they got destroyed, so I had to build them back. If your ass was there, I don't have to repeat the facts. It's crazy how I can't know all about them tracks, and that's the truth. I'm over them licks.